Okay, so this isn't the usual setting that you see me in, but I've just taken a little bit of time out for myself this morning while Hannes is enjoying time in the paddock with Hoitzer and Jubbers. And all that's been going through my mind this morning is all the amazing comments that everybody has shared on all the reels that we posted yesterday about Hannes's time of having surgery. The relief I feel is unbelievable. Now I know we've still got a lot to do to manage the area and manage how we deal with Hannes and his eye and his sarcoids in the future, but yeah, I cannot begin to tell you how relieved I am. I sat with a coffee this morning and I've read every single one of your comments and feedback and words of support, and it's really made me quite emotional this morning. And I really can't thank you all enough. And there's so many people to thank, and I have to apologise if I don't get round to everybody, and I won't get round to thanking everybody. Sorry, I'm just negotiating the roads. I'm on my way back to the farm now, as I say, having taken a little bit of time out this morning just to do some really boring, mundane jobs, like a bit of shopping that I haven't done for a while. And I wanted to try and explain it all to you a little bit better, but there's so much going through my head at the moment. So I'm going to share with you the picture of the sarcoid that's come out. So this is 5 centimetres long, and the very first centimetre on the left hand side of the picture is what we could see sticking out of the corner of his eye on his conjunctival. And what Chris has done is he's gone in, had to go behind his eyeball, because the majority, the remaining 4 centimetres of this was sitting behind his eyeball and actually pushing it back within the socket. So you can imagine quite how uncomfortable that was. Now, hindsight is a brilliant thing, it always is. And there might be people out there who've not read the whole story who will say, well, why didn't you just go for surgery straight away? I'm not going to cover that here, because those of you that have followed the whole story will know why we couldn't go for surgery. And you'll know that I had a bit of a wobble with the whole treatment plan in the middle of it, because I was told categorically that really surgery wouldn't be an option, and I completely understand why it wasn't an option at the time. And because this is such a rare thing to happen, nobody knew, and there were huge risks going into surgery. As Chris said to me before he took Hannes in, if this had grown in around his bone or through his bone, then it really would have been game over. So when Hol and I left Hannes there yesterday and went to sit in the lorry to wait, it was really such a difficult time. But this is where Hol was absolutely brilliant, because she always lightens the mood and keeps spirits up, and she helped distract us both from what Hannes was going through. But the relief that I think we both felt when we saw him come out, the very fact that he came out and that he still had his eye there, well, words just can't describe it. It's not very often that I'm lost for words. But so grateful to Chris for what he did. Very, very clever man, so much experience obviously of eyes, of not just horses, but you know, cats, dogs, everything. And I'm so impressed with what he's done and what he says he can do to help Hannes further, but obviously it wasn't appropriate to do it then. but I don't want to forget how we got to this point in the first place, and that is through the support and the help and the advice and the knowledge of Sam Galloway at Frames, who's been our vet for many years, and of course Professor Nottenbelt, who's been advising all along the way. All of these people have got us to where we are, as well as all of your support, your kindness, everybody who's made a donation, so that we could confidently say to everybody along the way, whatever Hannes needs, he can get. Obviously we didn't want to take him over to France, which was one of the early things for radiotherapy. We tried the chemotherapy, it didn't work. It probably, undoubtedly it will have done something, but clearly this sarcoid was so large and so deep, it needed surgical removal, which is what we've now done. But it was all unknown, and as I say, hindsight is a great thing. And hopefully, if ever anybody gets this situation with their horse in future, then with any luck they can refer back to this case, and there's things that we've learnt along the way that will hopefully help anybody in future. But because it's such a rare thing, I just hope that nobody has this to deal with. So going into the specifics of it, so the corner of his eye, Chris has stitched up to make the eye socket a little smaller, to take away that big droopy area where the sarcoid sat. There is further work he can do to the bottom of the eyelid to make the area smaller again, to give him more chance of being able to blink, because at the moment he still can't blink because the muscles above and below his eye are damaged. There's nerve damage there, and it's unlikely to repair for him to be able to blink properly the way his eye is now. And because of that, all of that white scar tissue, which Chris did tell me the name for it, but I can't remember, it's apparently not an ulcer, but that's unlikely to heal itself as long as he can't blink. The good thing is, and again, if I've got this right, Chris was able to save his third eyelid, so hopefully his third eyelid is going to be able to still come across and help protect his eye. And I apologise if I've got any of the technical side of that wrong. The sarcoids remaining on the outside, I'm going to speak to Sam about next week. He's coming to see Hannes and see how he's doing, and we're going to look at what we do with them, whether we laser them out, cut them out. One of the things Chris said was that he could, although he says he's not a specialist in sarcoids at all, he said they could be cut out and he could move a bit of skin round to stop there being a hole there. In all honesty, I'm not worried about how it looks aesthetically, and I'm sure Hannes isn't. It's all about just trying to get rid of as much of the sarcoid cells as we can. And we know that we're going to have to manage this for the rest of his life, but it's doing it in a way that he's happy and comfortable with. So, as I say, I'm going to speak to Sam, whether we cut them out, laser them out, whether we do more chemotherapy injections around the outside of his eye. I'm not sure at this stage, but obviously we'll keep everybody updated. So yes, over the next week, the main thing is for us to keep the eye lubricated. So we've got gel lubrication to go in his eye, let the area heal. He's got, as I say, 30 dissolvable stitches in the corner of his eye, which, you know, they might suddenly appear, but they will dissolve over time. His eye's going to weep, so we've just got to keep it clean. Fortunately, we're not into the bad fly season now, but he's got his fly mask on. We haven't put the fly mask on before now because the sarcoid protruded from his eye. There was the risk of the fly mask rubbing against it, and obviously when he had the Equisil cream on and it was all scabby and crusty around the eye, we didn't want the eye mask rubbing on that. But the skin is mostly smooth around the outside of his eye now. Obviously the sarcoid is from the conjunctival is gone, so we're going to see today how he's coped with that fly mask. He's pretty good at getting them off if he doesn't like wearing them, so he'll be quick enough to tell us what's the right thing to do. So anyway, sorry for the long video. As I say, going back to what I said at the start, I have read every one of your comments. I apologise that I'm not going to reply to them all because it would take me most of the day. But yeah, once again, thank you. It's just incredibly overwhelming, the support that he's had. So all the comments on all the social media, the private messages I've had, and I'm sorry if I don't reply to all of those, but you know, there is a point where I need to sort of say stop and get on with the day-to-day of looking after everybody else and keeping the sanctuary running, keeping all the horses happy. Today I've very much left Hull and Lisa to look after everybody, but as I say, I'm on my way back to the farm now. I've got to give Hannes his antibiotics for the day. Again, some of you will have seen he's really good even with that. He's just so trusting. He's such a special horse. They're all amazing, these horses, but this little guy has touched so many hearts over the years that he's been with us. He's the reason why we run as a sanctuary, why I want to keep the place going, keep offering support to any Friesian in need, and keep sharing all the horses with everybody, because they bring so much to so many people. Anyway, I'm on my way home, nearly there. I've waffled long enough. Thank you for listening, and yeah, thank you all.